Every team, every topic, everywhere. This is Believe.
You are listening to Zero Dark Nerdy. They have the meats.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Zero Dark Nerdy, the world's most notorious pop culture podcast. Brought to you by the Believe Podcast Network and, of course, betonline.ag for all your sports betting needs. This is your boy, Brian, a.k.a. El Nino, and today I'm joined with
Ryan Saba, Captain Cleveland, All-Star game in Cleveland this weekend. Browns, Cavs, Guardians, CLE till I die.
There we go. We just released the 2022 movie preview episode that my lovely daughter Jordan was on. Big ups to Jordan.
Oh, yeah.
And as promised, we are now getting ready to do our 2022 superhero movie preview. We definitely figured that it deserved its own episode. So we are going to try to do it justice. I know Matthew and Jerry couldn't make it today. Big shout out to those guys in Raleigh, and Jordan is in Raleigh with Daisy. So big shout outs to them as well.
Who?
His girl.
No. Who's the guy? The last guy you mentioned?
Did I say Jordan?
Yeah. I don't know that. Who is that guy?
Yeah, he's been MIA for a while. You can catch him on Twitch, though. Doo Brown, 3879. Eventually, he will definitely, hopefully, come back into the studio. So we are gonna we're gonna be going down the list of the superhero movies coming out this year. Now, before I get into it, there's obviously not going to be any spoilers on this, but there is a lot of tentative stuff out there. We decided to not put it on this episode. We wanted to go ahead and put in the movies that have concrete dates, at least as of right now, barring another massive COVID outbreak. So I know that when we were doing the 2022 movie preview episode, those are movies that Ryan and I have been previewing for the last 2 years, it feels like.
Do you want me to say something? I was like, wait a minute. Am I supposed to interject something there? I don't think there's much more to say. Yeah, I mean, I've done Top Gun Maverick for my 3 fucking years in a row, it feels like. So, yeah, I mean,
people are going to be listening to those episodes like, so when did this air? And when did that movie come out? We're going to look back on this in 10, 20 years or whatever. And they're going to be like, why does Ryan keep bringing up Top Gun Maverick?
Even though football's almost over, betonline.ag remains your number one spot in 2022 with more props, odds, and lines than ever before. It's a new year with a new updated desktop and mobile website. So sign up today and receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Just use our promo code BELIEVE to get started. That's BLEAV. From basketball, football, NHL, boxing, and the UFC, right to your favorite Vegas casino games. Don't wait to take advantage of all the amazing offers available for 2022. BetOnline.ag is the fastest and easiest way to wager on all your favorite sports. BetOnline, it's where the game starts.
A week or two after, we got March 4th, The Batman. So we got a young Batman, pretty much about, they're saying he's about maybe 2 years into the Batman role, played by Robert Pattinson. And then Matt Reeves directing, did Deadpool 2. Visually, I like his work. And then, as far as the rest of the cast, we got Colin Farrell playing the Joker. Zoe Kravitz is
the Penguin. Colin Farrell's playing the Penguin.
Colin Farrell's playing the Penguin. Sorry about that. Zoe Kravitz as Catwoman. Paul Dano as a Riddler like we've never seen before. And honestly, one of the things I'm really most excited about is Andy Serkis playing Alfred. Yeah, it's coming out. There's already 2 sequels planned for this film. I went ahead and booked my tickets for opening night because I know if I don't go see it opening night, Facebook and social media is going to ruin it for me, like just about everything else out. So, Saba, what's your take on the Batman, as far as how you feeling, how you things like that?
Yeah, what I'll say on this one is I'm really excited for it. In the way that Christopher Nolan took his trilogy kind of dark and gritty. I mean, Batman's always sort of a darker, grittier superhero. I thought Christopher Nolan took it to the next level. I think that Matt Reeves is taking it up even a further notch. This feels very sort of, it's hard for me to explain. Like, it's like, I wish Jordan was here to help me with film genres. dark noir, or whatever, right. the film genre where it's just very dark and I think that they're taking a very good angle with this. Mm-hmm. They're not doing the origin story because the origin story's played out. Like you said, they're kind of starting midstream. Now, I'm sure there will be flashbacks, the pearl necklace. I'm sure the pearl necklace that his mother's wearing, I'm sure that'll make an appearance, but they're not going to go back and do the whole thing. Not super pumped about Robert Pattinson. I don't want to get into that whole thing because of how much shit Ben Affleck took and really almost every Batman takes. I'm sure he'll do fine. But I'm looking forward to a different look, different feel. It's almost, from what I've read, and from less gadgets and toys and more detective type stuff. And as you said, the Paul Dano thing, he's going to be like a serial killer. Now, I think it's always assumed that like the Joker and the Riddler and the Penguin and all the Batman villains are serial killers, but this is going to be like a true crime-esque movie.
Right.
And I think it's going to be really good. I'm really looking forward to it. I probably won't go see it on opening night. I know you sent me the text message about wanting to go on Thursday night or whatever. I probably won't do that, but I will see it, very early on. Maybe I'll see it on Sunday or whatever, opening weekend.
Yeah. Again, the main reason I do it, I used to hate opening weekends, to be quite honest with you, just because, there's just people that show no respect as far as, to me, and I know we need to have a podcast episode based on this.
Oh, here we
movie
go.
Theater etiquette.
Here we go.
At least there's assigned seating now. So I went ahead and got Ashley and I seats right there in the middle. And on the top of that, I really have to see it because of social media. Because if you don't go see this stuff when it first comes out, I remember just watching Peacemaker this week, and I kept having to scroll by stuff because it was like all these cameos in the last episode of Peacemaker.
Folks, this is coming from the guy that almost pissed his pants when Harry Styles came on the screen.
You're never going to let that go.
In the Eternals.
That's not true, by the way. Not true.
Yeah, but I love it. I love the narrative that I've created there.
It's going to be on my tombstone. Pissed his pants when Harry Styles came on the screen at Eternals. Brian Hernandez, a.k.a. El Nino. All right, so that's March 4th. We got the Batman coming up, really the first big one of the year. And then we got, to me, what is honestly the biggest question mark of the year that's been pushed back countless times. And it's not because of the actor. I think Jared Leto is a exceptional actor. Obviously, so does the Academy. And I'm not saying that you have to have an Academy Award to be an exceptional actor. There's a lot of people out there that have not won one, which is another podcast episode we need to do. I think the guy can bring it in any role. But Morbius coming out April 1st, a big anti-hero. I've always been a big fan of the anti-heroes, Ghost Rider, Punisher. Morbius is definitely up there. I've always been a huge fan of the vampire genre. So I'm just kind of curious to see what's going to happen with this movie. As the trailer shows, we're supposed to get Michael Keaton in there, apparently reprising his role as Vulture that's in prison or whatnot. So, we'll see. To me, this is the biggest question mark of the year. I'm not saying it's going to define everything that Marvel does after. This is Marvel Sony, by the way. This isn't Marvel. It's not the MCU. So, with that being said, Saba, what's your take on Morbius?
Well, we're getting Michael Keaton. We may get Venom. I don't know in this. It'll be interesting. Now with Spider-Man and Homecoming and them creating, it sounds like Tobey Maguire wants to make more movies. It sounds like Andrew Garfield wants to make more movies. Obviously, Tom Holland's doing another trilogy. That's a college years. It's going to be interesting to see. This could be Michael Keaton as the Vulture, but a variant of the Michael Keaton that we know from the Tom Holland timeline. So it'll be interesting to see where they go with this. My guess is Tom Hardy, this Vulture, and probably this Dr. Michael Morbius will be in the Andrew Garfield timeline. Mm-hmm. And I think that this is going to be the start of sort of that. And it's going to get really confusing for the casual fan. You and I certainly, and folks that love comic book movies and are nerds in that perspective will certainly be able to follow it. But I think it's going to get confusing for the casual fan. And I think this may end up backfiring on Sony and Marvel for the casual viewer. You're not going to be able to, with the way they have this kind of going and having potentially three timelines of Spider-Man stuff. Oh, not to mention a movie we'll talk about later, right? From an animated perspective, so they got 4 different sort of arcs going on at once. I think it could get a little confusing for the casual fan, and you might not be able to get just somebody go, hey, a new Spider-Man movie came out, you want to go see it? It's like, no, I can't go fucking see it because I haven't watched the last 4 and I have no fucking clue what's going on,
right?
So I think that would be the one negative that maybe I would inject into this. But
sure,
is this a movie that I'm dying to see? No. Is it a movie? I don't like vampire movies to begin with, outside of unless you're a day walker. I'm all out on vampire movies. So there's that, but I will see it. I definitely will not go to the theaters and see it. This will be a HBO Max or Netflix or whatever it gets released. I'll see it on a streaming service, but that's no different. I mean, I've seen both Venom movies on streaming services. Right. So, and I would put it in the same category as those.
So the next one on the list coming out, we got May 6th, Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness, trailers galore. And I tell you, Saba, I think the most, and it never fails when a trailer comes out. A lot of people will sit at home and they'll freeze frame by freeze frame every single thing about it. But we also know that Marvel likes to throw in some bullshit in there to keep us on our toes.
Yeah.
So, is it on the hot list? Yes, of course it is. I mean, this could definitely be this year's No Way Home, which to me was probably one of the best, if not the best, comic book movie of last year. And we'll get into that when we do our 2021 Pop Culture Awards here in a few weeks. But, I'm definitely excited about it. I mean, the multiverse, we really got to see for the first time, and not the first time, but I thought the What If series did a great job with that, especially Doctor Strange, his episode on it. And I mean, we've gotten glimpses of, obviously, we got Scarlet Witch coming back, first appearance of America Chavez. And then, who knows what else this is going to show. I mean, there's been rumors of Tom Cruise playing futuristic Iron Man, all kinds of stuff. So it's going to be one of those things you have to go see it that first day, because it's going to be immediately ruined for you the next day on social media, unless you just want to stay off. So what's your take on it?
Yeah, I mean, this is the number one movie on the list for me. Mm-hmm. It's the number one Marvel movie for me for this year. It is a movie that we've known has been coming for a few years. Obviously, there's been lots of rumors even during development. I remember seeing Spider-Man Far From Home in the theaters, and I think I saw it with you in the theater. Yeah. And I remember in the scene where Mysterio's kind of fucking with Peter Parker and he's like falling down. He doesn't know where he's at. They faked like the Nick Fury getting shot or Nick Fury thing, right? Like I said, this is how I remember saying to somebody, maybe it was you, maybe it was somebody else, that this is how Multiverse of Madness is going to be. So you think about it, there was talk of what it was going to be way back then. I think it's going to be a little borderline for me. I think there's going to be some scary stuff. I hate when we talk about this because it makes me sound like such a little bitch. I get fucking scared. Okay. Like I'm not like real life scenarios and situations don't fucking scare me, but like this shit, it does. I don't know. I can't explain it. So I know in the trailer or the various trailers, we've seen at least 3 versions of Doctor Strange. We've seen a couple versions of Scarlet Witch. Obviously, we just talked about Professor X. There's no telling who else is on that. They're saying it's setting up for the Illuminati thing. Right. There's no telling. There may be a variant of Loki up there. There may be a variant of Kang up there on that dais that you see the shadowy figures. There may be an Iron Man variant. They're talking about maybe one or two different in the trailers, one or two different versions of either Captain Marvel, and or Photon, who is the Monica Rambeau character that was created in WandaVision. So yeah, this is along the lines of what we were just talking about. This is going to be a Civil War level event, non-Avengers movie, where you're going to have not only related characters to the story, but unrelated characters, to be honest. I mean, you could have a Red Hulk or something, you know what I mean? Like, there's no telling the direction that they will go with this, but it is my number one Marvel movie that I'm looking forward to in 2022. And it's also my number one overall superhero movie that I'm looking forward to in 2022. I think it's going to be fantastic.
All right. So the next one is, to me, going to be my surprise hit of 2022. It's the animated film DC League of Super Pets. I mean, Saba and I, huge dog lovers. For the majority out there, we hope that you're dog lovers, if not at least pet lovers.
If you're not a dog lover, I don't know what's going on with you. Yeah,
at least have some kind of pet at least. So I mean, it is called the DC League of Super Pets. So you need to have a cat, snake, something.
So is the premise that it's the superheroes' pets?
Correct. So animated film coming out May 20th. Obviously, the two biggest stars attached to it are The Rock and Kevin Hart. The bromance grows even stronger. The Rock is playing Crypto, Superman's dog, where Kevin Hart is going to be playing Ace, the Bat Dog. And I mean, Kevin Hart has already been great in The Secret Life of Pets. Like, we know he's incredibly funny, talented actor, great voice actor. And then on top of that, you got a supporting cast. I don't know what characters they're tied to, because I mean, really, the thing is, you don't know that much about super pets.
Well, it says Krasinski's playing Superman.
Oh, okay. So yeah, then you have the actual superheroes in it too. So you do have Kate McKinnon's playing a role in there. Krasinski, I did not know he was playing Superman. Good find on that. Diego Luna and Keanu Reeves.
I gotta believe that Keanu Reeves is doing Batman.
That, and he would be, and we'll get to that later. There's going to be 4 different variations of Batman this year, which is just a whole other thing.
It's a good point. Yeah.
So, just kind of like, I don't know how much you are into animated films. We've yet to really do an animated films episode. So, Saba, what's your feeling on this one in particular?
I saw a trailer for it. I don't know, maybe it was during the Super Bowl or something. Look, I like the animated movies, especially the ones that have pets in them or animals sing. And, I think it's a product of growing up when the Disney movies were coming out, that I still sort of have a special place in my heart for them. I'll see it. It's very similar to Morbius. This won't be one that I go, I know you'll be there opening night.
Regal Pass, baby. Regal Pass.
But this will be the one that, when it comes out on Apple TV or, Hulu or HBO Max or whatever, shout out to all the streaming services, that I'll watch it when it debuts there. But this isn't one that I'm going to run out, or that, to be honest with you, that I don't feel any way about it. I'm not excited and I'm not unexcited. Right.
Yeah. To me, I mean, like I said, I feel like this is going to be a surprise hit this year, and a very family friendly surprise hit. So I can see myself, my daughter, my nieces and nephew, Ashley's, the whole family can go to and really enjoy it. Which
great
is
movie for kids.
Right. For kids, and then us adult kids out there. So is it at the top of my list? No, but I will say it's in my top 5, and we'll get into that later, where we're going to do a top 3 of the movies that we want to see the most this year. And then we all know pretty much just about every year, except for the pandemic, there's always a Marvel movie that comes out right around July 4th weekend. This year, we're going to have Thor, Love and Thunder, or as I like to call it, as Guardians of the Galaxy. And it's going to have Natalie Portman coming back to the franchise as Thor, a version of Thor, the female Thor. So, this one, again, very, very excited about. Taika Waititi is back, and I mean, the guy literally can do no wrong. So I'm excited to see this variation of it. Obviously, to me, I feel like this will be a prequel to Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, which we will be getting next year. I know that there's been talk about the Christmas special coming out this year. That's this, that, and the other. I'm really more excited about Guardians 3, but I do think that this will lead up to it. So that's just my take on it.
I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised and happy with that Christmas special that you just disregarded. I've been seeing some, and that's obviously it's on Disney Plus. It's more of a TV show, a limited series, but it's going to follow. It will be part of the timeline that's happening right now. Anyways, in terms of Thor: Love and Thunder, pumped, love it. Look, I am an MCU fucking whore. So I can't get enough of it. Like, just inject that shit straight into my veins. You know what I mean? Like, it's almost to a fault. I love it all. So I'm definitely really excited about this. If you think about it, really, Thor is the only core member of the Avengers, the main ones that's gonna even have a role in this phase. Now, look. Ruffalo will be in the She-Hulk series on Disney Plus a little bit and those kinds of things, but he's getting a movie, and he's also going to be in Guardians of the Galaxy 3 that comes out next year. So the other side of that, what I'm really excited about this is Chris Pratt's in this movie, and he plays a role in this movie. So you're going to have Star-Lord in this movie for a period of time. So
to me,
I would say this is probably number 2 on my list for the Marvel movies that are coming out this year.
Okay. And to me, honestly, it's tied for DC League of Super Pets as far as, I don't want to say surprise of the year, but I do think it's going to be better than people expect. I mean, especially if we have anything close to what Ragnarok was, which, just like you said, the first 2 Thors were trash. I mean, Thor Ragnarok is, and we have to have another episode, obviously, but when we did our first kind of MCU top 5s, this was right when Infinity War came out, and I believe we've had at least 10 films since then. So we'll have to update that a little bit, but I'm excited about it. And just to backtrack a little bit, another reason I am excited about Doctor Strange is because it was the first rumors and rumblings of a Mahershala Ali appearance since you brought him up as Blade. So obviously we got to wait till May 6th to see that. But there we go. So
technically, we've already gotten a Mahershala Ali appearance.
True, but just the voice, though. Just the voice.
That's what they're fucking doing now.
What's more important than peace of mind? Nothing. And that's what NordVPN is here for, to give you peace of mind while you are online. And with all of the threats that you face today on the internet, it is more important than ever to be sure that you have the best VPN you can get. NordVPN is the world's best VPN service, offering the fastest connectivity, most servers, and next-gen encryption to make sure that everything you do online stays secure. Plus, you can use NordVPN on all of your computers and devices, no matter the operating system. With NordVPN's unlimited bandwidth, you never have to worry about a slow connection either, and plans start at under $4 a month. So grab your exclusive NordVPN deal by going to nordvpn.com/believe, and that's believe spelled BLEAV. You'll get up to 70% off your NordVPN plan, plus 1 additional month for free. So the next one is Black Adam, coming out July 29th with The Rock. He's had this under his belt for quite some time. Of course, there was delays due to COVID. To me, I do feel like this is going to be the breakout film of 2022. I think we're well past the point on if a DC movie really makes or breaks DC and Warner Brothers, because there's no really legit tie-in. And even when they do try to tie it in, it does need some explanation, but I think they're just past that. Like, DC with the Batman now, even though they're saying that that's going to fall into another universe, I think they're in the whole multiverse thing. But the Black Adam series is supposed to tie in with Shazam, and that one has been, I believe, pushed back to next year. So we'll talk to that. Shazam 2, Something of the Gods. So we got The Rock, obviously, and then we have the Justice Society of America, which includes Pierce Brosnan as Dr. Fate. We got Aldous Hodge as Hawkman. Just saw the preview for that and that quick little DC trailer, which, by the way, if you have not seen the DC movie trailer for the movies coming out this year, incredibly awesome. I mean, it gets you pumped for DC movies.
DC does make a good trailer, don't
They
they?
really do. Even if the movies are shit, their trailers are awesome. And then we have Atom Smasher as well as Cyclone on it. I mean, I'm super pumped for this. The Rock straight out said that this was the hardest. And if you've not seen a picture of The Rock in the last 3 to 5 years, I don't know if you just don't have social media. You're probably not listening to this podcast. But the guy is just an incredibly ripped human being. He said it was the toughest diet he's ever been on in his entire life. Didn't want any extra padding, none of that shit with any of that as far as the wardrobe, the costume. It literally just fit around him. So, he wanted to look the part 100%. Has he become a great actor in Hollywood? Personally, in my opinion, I think he has. So I'm excited about Black Adam. It's definitely in my top 3. Saba, where's it at as far as your top 3 to 5?
Yeah. So for me, I would say that this is a candidate for me for disappointment of the year. Ooh. And and let me clarify what I mean by that. Mm-hmm. It will fall. I think it has the potential to fall below my expectations.
Okay.
Because while I am a MCU whore, I am also a Dwayne Johnson whore.
Right.
Like, I love Jungle Cruise. You hear me? Like, yeah. I love everything The Rock makes. And this one, to me, I'm a huge Shazam fan.
Yeah.
Love Shazam. Totally into that. So when the trailer first came out for this, and it opens up with Shazam and it fucking, I worry about it because The Rock is larger than life. Mm-hmm. And in my opinion, he is probably the biggest star of any superhero movie that we've had ever to make their debut in superhero movies at the point that he is at in his career.
Sure.
So I think there's a lot of expectations. Like, oh my God, The Rock makes great movies. This is going to be great. And it's like, number one, it's DC, so I'm skeptical to begin with. Like, Jordan Brown's a DC guy. He loves fucking DC. So, and here's the thing, I'm an apologist for DC. Like, I like the original Suicide Squad. I like Justice League, Batman versus Superman. So I find a way to talk myself into liking some of these other movies. However, I'm not going to do that with this one. Like, if it's bad, I'm going to be fucking pissed because of the reverence and the pedestal that I put The Rock on. So I am very excited for this movie, but I'm also, I have anxiety when it comes to this movie because I'm worried I'm worried I'm going to hate it.
I gotcha. Completely understandable. And, we'll see when it comes out. Obviously he's excited. Everyone's excited about it. We're going to see what happens. And then it'll be interesting to see. And to me, probably one of the most interesting parts is how it does tie in with Shazam! Fury of the Gods, which I just remembered the name of the sequel. This next one, to me, I definitely feel is up there. It's in my top 3 list. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse Part 1, most importantly, coming out October 7th. We got the same writers, Phil Lord as well as Chris Miller, back. They did the first Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. And then on this one, of course, we're going to see a ton of other shit, but the only thing that's really kind of beneficial besides him and Spider-Gwen coming back is Oscar Isaac coming in to play Spider-Man 2099.
Tom Holland too.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yes.
Nice. So, I mean, this one, I remember it was me, you, I think Jordan and
Jerry.
And yeah, Jerry went to go see this in the theaters, and we all just walked out with our minds blown. I mean, the movie was so good. It didn't feel, and I'm not saying animated movies are not good. It just story-wise, the visuals, everything else, it was a movie-going experience. If the first one ever comes back in theaters again and you did not have a chance to go see Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse in movie theaters, I highly suggest you go do it because it is a phenomenon. Like, we didn't go see it in IMAX either. We saw it at Red Cinemas, and it was a blast. So to me, obviously the bar is set super high in my opinion, but I am incredibly pumped for this. God only knows what they're going to come out with. And I mean, really, they kind of have like carte blanche as far as whatever they can do in part 1 of 2 of this new Across the Spider-Verse.
Yeah, you talk about that story. I didn't even want to go see the first one. What was it, 2018, I guess, or maybe 2019?
It was 2019. It was literally right before the pandemic hit.
Yeah, it was just a random Wednesday in December. Beehern was texting me and he's like, come see this movie with us. I'm like, fuck, I don't want to go. So I was kind of ghosting him. And then he had Jordan. He fucking pulled the card on me. He had Jordan Brown fucking text me and asked me to go and told me he would sit next to me. So I went.
And hold his hand.
He did not hold my hand. But he brought 2 cans of cream soda to the movie, which was
he did.
I don't know why that sticks with me to this day. He brought 2 cans of cream soda, and I'm like, well, number one, who brings fucking soda to the theater, and who brings like cream soda? When's the last time you
cream soda?
Yeah. Anyway, so I didn't even want to go see it, and it was one of the best things that I've ever done that I going into it didn't want to do. Phenomenal movie, the original. Part of it is the soundtrack, right? Mm-hmm. So that's that I'm going to transition into my hopes for the second one. They have to come correct with the soundtrack on the second one for it to, live up or be in the same, ranking, in my opinion, is the original. I'm really looking forward to this. I love the Miles Morales character. I love just everything that they did with it visually. With the writing, the story, everything was just so great. And it really, if you think about it, laid a lot of the groundwork for what Spider-Man,
the multiverse.
Yeah. What it became, I think.
Yeah.
So, I love the Kingpin, how they made him like huge, more true to life on the comic books. And it's just great. I'm really looking forward to it. This is probably, and I know we're going to give, this is one of the top movies that I'm looking forward to. I know we're going to give our list coming out, but again, if you haven't seen the original, you have to see it. If you got kids, this is kid friendly. I know some of these superhero movies are starting to become less and less kid friendly with some of the violence and the storylines and things like that. This is definitely a kid friendly movie. Kids will love it. It's lighthearted, and visually it's phenomenal, and it's really unlike anything else. It is a one-of-a-kind animated experience, and I'm really looking forward to see what they do in the second iteration of this series.
Couldn't say it better myself. Again, October 7th, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse Part 1 coming out. Next one coming out in regards to theaters, November 4th, we have the Flash movie. Ezra Miller's coming back, reprising his role as a Flash, and we're going to have not one, but 2 Batmans in this movie. Batman, however you want to say it. Batmen. We got Michael Keaton reprising his role from the first 2 OG Batman Tim Burton films, and then Ben Affleck reprising his role as the most current Batman, not the Batman from Robert Pattinson's Batman. It looks like it's going to take a little bit of the Flashpoint storyline with it, which is very exciting to me, especially when you see the trailer and it is Michael Keaton's voice when he's like, hey, listen, you can go to any timeline you want to, you can reverse time. Why do you keep coming back to this one? And I think they put that in there for many reasons, but most of all, to get us excited about the Flashpoint possible storyline, to see what we're going to see. To me, I want to put this in my top 3. It's definitely in my top 5, but it is in my top 3. I think Ezra Miller plays a phenomenal Flash, plain and simple. And I'm just interested to see what this movie really entails. And, at the end of the day with DC, like I mentioned earlier, Warner Brothers, I don't care if it connects everything that, the DCEU is kind of, I don't want to say disbanded, but it's not really accurate. And at this point, I don't really care. At this point, just pump out good movies. Just do that, and then we can figure out later if they connect or not. So that's just my take on it. Saber, where are you at with this?
Oh, this is my number one DC movie of the year that I'm looking forward to seeing. I love Ezra Miller. I will say, for anybody who didn't see the video that Ezra Miller put out a couple weeks ago, I think he really thinks that he is the Flash at this point.
He don't give a shit.
He was wearing a Flash ring and all that in the video. It was good. I'm really looking forward to this. I'm looking forward to the whole time travel component of it. I'm looking forward to the Michael Keaton Batman as the sort of mentor to him. It's very similar to how Ben Affleck kind of took him under his wing in the timeline that we are familiar with. I'm looking forward to it. And here's the thing. If this movie can be successful, it opens the door for them to go back to the Snyderverse. Right. And they can basically do whatever they want because they can say, oh, yeah, this was on a different time, on a different timeline or whatever. So I really want them being DC, Zack Snyder, to make a movie out of the end credits scene from the Snyder Cut of the Justice League with the Joker, Jared Leto's Joker, and Ben Affleck's Batman in this post-apocalyptic world where Superman goes fucking ape shit. Like, I want to see that movie, and I think this one being successful is how we get to there. So I love the Michael Keaton Batman. Everybody loves the Michael Keaton Batman. I love the Ben Affleck Batman. I love Ezra Miller's play on sort of the clumsy, dopey versions of Barry Allen in The Flash. So this is definitely one of the movies that I will see. Maybe not day one. I won't see it on Thursday, but I'll definitely see it on Friday. So I am super pumped for this.
I'm really glad you said that because my take is I feel like The Flash is going to either really make a solidified DCEU, hopefully bring back Zack Snyder. We all know that James Gunn is coming back to DC. Once he's done with Guardians, he already said that's it. That he's done with Marvel. If those two can tag team the DC universe together and not have a Kevin Feige over them, holy shit. You know what I mean? We could definitely see a power shift. And I'm not saying Kevin Feige's not done a good job. The guy's done a great job, but he's also had some great talent underneath him too. But you have two really, really passionate directors that love the genre, know what they're doing. And if you can have those two pretty much become a Kevin Feige of the DC universe, fucking look out.
Ezra Miller can do for DC what Tom Holland has done for the MCU. A younger superhero that brings in a different demographic.
Right.
And it's a slightly different take on a character that folks are used to seeing in their, 20s or whatever, to get sort of the high school or what I mean, the young adult crowd in there. Ezra Miller can do for DC what Tom Holland did for the MCU.
Yeah. Agreed 100%. So, moving on, we got two movies left that are
two more.
These are confirmed coming out this year, barring some bullshit with an epidemic. So Black Panther, Wakanda Forever coming out November 11th. We all know Ryan's back as a director. The biggest question marks are, will Nakia, will Shuri, will Okoye be the next Black Panther? Is Killmonger going to come back? Who is the main villain? So big question marks. And, of course, an RIP. And Saba and I, we've been, very, very good friends for a long time now. It seems like when we're around each other, we also are there when bad news comes. And I will never forget, it was Danielle's birthday. Big shout out to when we were visiting her for her birthday is when we got the news that our boy passed away, the original Black Panther. With that being said, I don't know why I put that in there. Yeah, that and other we're not going to get into that. But either way,
it's a good point.
Yeah,
I think it's a good point. And let me add a little bit of added dialogue to that. It with that happening, it changes the dynamic and the trajectory of this individual film series within the bigger scope of the MCU.
Correct.
So in my opinion, I know you had talked about a couple of the movies that were candidates for sort of the biggest surprise of the year for you. This one falls in that category for me as biggest surprise because I don't have a lot of expectations for this.
Right.
They have had a lot of challenges with COVID. They've had challenges, and I don't want to get into it, but with the cast, they've had challenges with associated with challenges they've had with the cast doing rewrites of the script on the fly to change the overall arc of the story as a whole. So I expect it to be a good movie because Ryan Coogler is an outstanding director. And I mean, at this point, Marvel just does not fucking miss. So the next piece of shit they put out is going to be the first piece of shit they put out. Right. So, and I'm not I'm not suggesting that this is going to be a bad movie. What I'm saying is because of all the challenges that I've seen this movie go through and just really an uncertainty of, we have no idea what this movie is about.
Right.
In a way that, I mean, now Thor, there's a little bit of, we don't really know what Thor's about, but at least we kind of can get a sense based on the characters that are good. It's basically the same cast of characters minus Chadwick. I know they're going to incorporate Namor into this, the Submariner and all that, right? But, I don't know where they're going with this. So expectations are very low on this. So that's why for me, it has the potential to be, look, this may end up being my favorite fucking movie of the year because of a lack of expectations. And I'm curbing my expectations because of the challenges they've gone through. And even if it isn't a great movie, I'm not going to hold it against them because they've had to overcome so much adversity, starting with one of the most brilliant fucking actors of a generation. Unexpected, it wasn't unexpected to him because he was battling with cancer for years, but guy didn't fucking tell anybody. So, I mean, look, I wouldn't blame him if it doesn't live up to, the first one, definitely, because that's a masterpiece and just a great film in general. But I think this has the potential to be the breakout movie of the year for me because the expectations are so low.
But, I agree. There's a lot of mystery behind it. Nobody really knows where it's going. The introduction of Namor has definitely been in those predictions. Who the main villain is going to be? Is Killmonger going to come back? There's a lot of question marks. And, I definitely, hopefully, best expectations is this movie rises like a phoenix out of the ashes. At worst, I think it'll be an okay film, but we definitely cannot hold that against the writers and directors, especially under the circumstances. So with that being said, last and final movie that's officially been announced for this year is Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom, coming out December 16th. We do know that Black Mantis is coming back. And apparently the guy that we talked about last episode, that's in every movie.
Yahya Abdul-Mateen.
Yahya Abdul-Mateen.
He played Morpheus in the latest Matrix movie that came out, the new version of Morpheus. And you know who he also was? You remember the show The Get Down on Netflix?
Yeah, he was he
was like the bad guy.
The bad guy. Yeah.
Yeah, the one that entered, he was dancing and stuff. Yeah.
He was the club owner.
Yeah, he's phenomenal.
Right. And I know you haven't seen it, but I will say this. If you have not seen last year's, not remake, but the Candyman movie that Jordan Peele produced. I know you haven't seen it, Saba, but for you horror fans out there, check out Candyman, the 2021 version. It was outstanding.
I want to be clear to everybody. This whole fucking thing with me and not being able to watch scary movies started with fucking Candyman, the original Candyman with Tony. Who's the original Candyman?
Jones?
No. Anyway, that's where it all started. So there is under no fucking circumstances am I watching the remake of that movie.
Hey,
I was traumatized by the original Candyman.
I'm not blaming you. So what's your take on Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom here?
I don't care. I didn't love the original one. Look, I love Jason Momoa. I think it's fine. I'll see the movie. This is another one that I'll see, when it comes out on HBO Max. Probably it'll be an HBO Max movie. It seems like HBO's got the rights a little bit.
No, they canceled that this year.
Okay.
So none of the Warner Brothers movies like last year are supposed to being the key word.
Okay.
Especially the movie hero ones going to come out on HBO. They're going to be theaters only.
I'll see it. I don't dislike. I didn't even particularly not care for the first Aquaman movie. I thought it was fine. I thought it was good. I thought, like I said, I like Jason Momoa. I liked his character, especially in the Snyder cut of Aquaman, the more bro-y version of Arthur Curry. Look, it's December 16th. The last movie last year that came out in December was Spider-Man. They making DC's not Aquaman in the Lost Kingdom is not going to be Spider-Man No Way Home. So, I'll see it when it comes out, when it's released, but I'm not going to the theater to see it. And it's no dislike or anything for Jason Momoa, for the Arthur Curry character, for the original movie. I'm not excited about this one.
All right. So my top three, I got to say, and I'll start with 3, go to 1. And, this was a very, very close list. I think we did 9 movies, Saba, as far as the ones that are confirmed coming out. So very, very close list. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse coming in at number 3. Number 2, and this is just the nostalgia version of myself, which is pretty much every episode, The Flash, because it is the one DC movie I am most excited about. Black Adam's up there as well. It's in my top 5, but it's not in my top 3. So The Flash is number 2 for me. And then number 1, I got to go Doctor Strange, the Multiverse of Madness. So that's my top 3.
Yeah, our lists are exactly the same. I kind of alluded to it as we were going through it. Flash was my number 1 DC movie. Doctor Strange was my number 1 Marvel movie. Those are 2 movies. I mean, I started talking about Flash on episodes we had, last year. I've been super dialed into this one, so I'm excited. And I would say it's really close. I would put the Batman probably at number 4, and it's very close between Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse and the Batman. But what I would say is I know what I'm getting with Into the Spider-Verse. I don't know what I'm getting with Matt Reeves in that version of Batman. So that's why it gives Spider-Man for me Into the Spider-Verse the what am I calling? I'm calling it Into the Spider-Verse. That's not what it's called, right?
Across the Spider-Verse.
Across the Spider-Verse. I'm giving it a slight edge because I know what we're going to get from a visual perspective, from a music perspective, from a character progression, just everything. It's going to be phenomenal. So same 3, but I would just add a little extra touch to it and say, I want to say that I have Batman right there.
Yeah.
But I had to give Spider-Man the edge.
Be sure to like, subscribe, and follow Zero Dark Nerdy on all social media formats. As always, big thank you to the Believe Podcast Network as well as betonline.ag. And we'll see you next time. Peace.
Yeah! Victory!
And anger management?
Fuck anger management.
Thank you for listening to Believe. You can show support to your host by subscribing to the show and giving us a 5-star rating on your preferred platform. Check us out at Believe.com and search for BLEAV on YouTube.
You know when you're listening to a true crime story that has an unbelievable plot twist that makes you stop in your tracks? That's what our podcast, People Are the Worst, brings you with each episode. I'm Rachel.
And I'm Rebecca. We're identical twins who love true crime cases that make you say, didn't see that coming, and we hate the people responsible for them. Listen to People Are the Worst now on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.